Big Sight, New, Hank, Coco, Big Sir. Y'all know how this shit go. You know, all eyes on me. Motherfucker on G. Roll up in the club and shit. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. You know what? I bet you got it.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Health and Hustle podcast. Todd Sable along with Corey Carpenter, my co-host, and I think I can speak for both of us saying we're pretty excited for what we got lined up for you guys today. The podcast is brought to you by Sports Mediscussion, which reminds you to heal by moving. So with that, let's check in with Corey, my co-host. Corey, how you doing today?
Good, man. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Long day, but the hours are long and I love it. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I know we had we're going episode 3. Last 2 episodes have gone extremely well in terms of at least what we expected right out of the gate. So again, just want to continue to thank everybody for checking us out, giving us the time of day. But we're definitely excited for what we got to talk about tonight. So I don't think we're gonna really spend much time. I think we're gonna get right into it, or we're gonna start off with a little tidbit about ourselves, or what do we got going on?
Yeah, so I think just to switch it up and kind of keep it shorter than past episodes, we're going to do a little hot seat with Corey and I. So we're just going to ask each other one question. It could be personal, fitness, business related, and we didn't talk to each other about these just to kind of keep us honest and learn a little bit more about each other, and then let you guys get a little bit more insight on us as well. So I'm a little bit nervous, but Corey, you can ask me your question first if you want to.
Yes, I would love to. So I saw you post something the other day, a couple of days ago, Twitter, Instagram, I'm not really sure, about you and Emily and dealing with a long-distance relationship. And I know that's been something you guys have been doing for probably some time. But I just kind of wanted to, maybe touch on a little bit, like, how did that come about, or how long have you guys been doing it? And, do you have any insight or maybe just like a quick hitter tip for someone else that might be doing the same thing? Because I know you guys, obviously nothing's easy, but you guys work real hard together to make it work. And do you have any kind of little pointers or takeaways for someone else maybe that they could use to apply to their relationship, whether it be long distance or not?
Yeah, man. So me and Emily, we've been dating for over 3 years now. It'll be 3.5 soon. We went to high school together back up in Akron. So we didn't date in high school. We kind of had a few flings here and there, but I wasn't the nicest guy in high school, and with the girls. So, but luckily she gave me a second chance. We started dating after I went to school in college. So we went from I could walk to her house in 5 minutes to we didn't start dating until I was about about 2 hours away. So it kind of really didn't make sense. But so we've been doing it for a little while now, and for anybody who's in a long distance relationship, it's tough. There's a lot of hard days as far as communication, trying to be on the same page, because it's hard to be able to keep things going just through text messages and phone calls all the time. It's not ideal, but we've been doing it for a long time. Pretty much 2.5 years I was at Marietta. And now about 1.5 years at OU. So if I could give a few tips to anybody, it would just be basically, make sure that you're committed from the beginning. Because if you're not committed, it's a waste of time to do all that, because it's a ton of stress. Obviously I love her to death, or else I wouldn't be on this journey with her. But you got to be committed from the start, because it won't work that way. Obviously both parties have to be committed, and basically, you got to make sacrifices. Certain things, if they don't like them, or if you don't like something they're doing, you can't be there all the time. So you got to have a lot of trust as well. So I think in between sacrificing, me sacrificing things, her sacrificing things, us trusting each other, and just basically being committed to being together and not being able to give into all the extracurricular bullcrap that goes on with long distance relationships, whether that's just the distance itself or other people, trying to tear you apart. It's it's tough. So you just got to make sure, you love that person, and, it's worth it to be with them through it. So.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think, and one thing too that kind of brought to my mind as you were talking is something something that we've been working on, being so busy with both of us, is like being intentional with your time. So you have to literally, like, not necessarily write it down in your schedule, but you have to make it, a conscious effort to go that extra mile or make that extra call or make it fit into your schedule, because when you're far away and you're both busy, because I know she's busy as hell too, it's probably hard to even find like a time of day. I mean, I know it's super hard for us to find the same time to get together on a call, so I'm sure it's pretty similar for you two as well.
Yeah, man. I do feel bad because, we've got so much stuff going on, in our own lives, as far as, this podcast, my personal business, trying to possibly build another business here in the future in Columbus. Doing my master's program at OU. Trying to figure out what I'm doing after I graduate. Between all those things, working out, and then fitting in time for her every day. I mean, we text pretty often throughout the day, but she's been getting on me a little bit about me trying to make more time for her, which is tough because you got to find that balance. So, it's something you struggle with every day, and you try to find compromises to make, I want to make her happy, man. That's my biggest goal, is to make sure she's happy in the relationship, because if she's not, then I'm not doing something right. So that's my biggest priority, even though, sometimes it doesn't seem that way.
Right. Cool. Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Terrified as I am to say this, go ahead and let's hear it.
All right, Corey. So I've talked about in past podcasts how intense you are at times, and how driven you are in reaching your goals, and how your discipline levels are pretty much unmatched that I've seen. And I think you said you read 30 books last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, right around 30.
Yeah, so 30 books on top of your full-time job in the gym and your personal business. So after a long day and you come home, what's one thing that you do that's not business related, fitness related, that kind of brings you back to neutral, or kind of lets you relax? Like, what's something that you do that's completely not related with trying to better yourself, something you just you do for enjoyment?
Dude.
Or you have no fun?
No, this shouldn't be that hard to answer. It really shouldn't. I usually joke and tell people my hobbies are like doing laundry and cleaning, because that's kind of what I do in my spare time. But honestly, dude, so like, whenever I get home after work, and it's been, one of those days, one of those weeks, one of those, whatever it may be, because we all have it, it happens. Honestly, like, the number one thing I like to do is literally, like, sit down on the couch, kick the recliner up with Jess, and we literally will, put on Big Bang Theory, because that's probably my number one show. I don't know. I've been watching it for years. New shows come and go, but, like, I always joke, I can't commit to a new TV show. Like, I don't have time. So I've been watching Big Bang Theory literally since probably the first episode. So I literally will come home, sit on the couch, take my shoes and my socks off, kick back with Jess, and we'll watch Big Bang Theory and literally have a conversation with our dog. Like, when people hear us when they're not, if someone was ever, like, peeping our window and watch what the hell we do at night for fun, like, they would try to send us to the loony bin, because our dog is the funniest freaking dog. He's always saying something smart. You know what I mean? He's got, like, a little bit of a speech impediment, too. Like, he's not really good with, like, his R's or his S's or anything. But literally, I can't believe I just went there. But that's literally, like, what we do. Like, we'll, like, have a wrestling match in the living room like we're 7 years old, and then we'll talk for our dog. So that's pretty much, like, that's what brings me back. Like if I had to say what brings me back to, like, ground level, that's probably what it is, because I haven't been doing all this crazy hustling shit, like, since we've been, like, I wasn't doing this when we got together. So, like, I had this big shift in mental, my mental shift, whatever you want to call it, where I went into this direction after we'd been together for quite some time already. So I kind of had to have this sit down with her, like, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go, this is how I feel, and I essentially gave her an out, like, right off the get-go, just because I'm like, I know what this is going to take, and I'm like, and you can support me 100%, and I know I knew she would, but I'm like, I don't know that you understand exactly what it's going to take and how long it's going to take. So, if if you're not like about that, I completely understand. She never hesitated for a second. So, she's always been there literally. I mean, I kind of touched on it last week, but been there from the get-go. So when I need something to bring me back to zero and back to ground level and to kind of just like calm my nerves, I'll just hang out with Jess and the dog.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you gotta have some aspect of that in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's gotta be some normal. And I mean, there's times where like, we'll get home, and we kind of talked about this. I don't know, maybe not that long ago. We'll get home at maybe like 7 p.m. And to some people, we could grind for 3 or 4 more hours. And there's days where we do, but we could say, shit, we've been at it since 3 a.m. That's 14, 15, 16-hour day already. Let's, like, turn the fucking TV on and, kick our feet up and just kind of take a second to breathe. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, we do have hobbies and, we do go out into the public sometimes, although it never really feels like it. But I couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you what I would do if I ever went out in the public for a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a must. I mean, I know we're trying to portray to the listeners about hustling and grinding, but sometimes you gotta just you can reach a point where it's too much. Where Corey and I were talking about this the other day. It kind of got that to that point with our crew a little bit in training, where a lot of the guys are trying to be too serious about it, which can be a good thing. But I think we took it a little over the edge, and our training actually took a step back and became stagnant because people were taking it too seriously, and because it's the best part of a lot of our days. We enjoy being there, and it was getting to the point where we weren't enjoying it. So you got to find that balance and still have fun with things too. So
yeah, it's really hard to do, and sometimes I do it better than others. But you've got that goal in mind, and you're literally got your head down, focused on that goal because it's right there in front of you. Even though you're never going to get it, because even if you get that goal, there's something else that you want to do next. So you're literally never satisfied. So your head is down constantly, grinding, working. But you also have to be able to lift your chin up a little bit and look around and see where the hell you're at and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to embrace the process.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
well,
so
let's get down to business.
Yeah, we went a little rant there, guys, but that was some good stuff. So, Corey, do you want to touch on, I don't know if you have these written down or not, but do you want to touch on what we're going to talk about today, or you want me to touch on it?
I'll talk about it a little bit. I think what we're going to talk about, I like to call it, probably just call this the Haterade edition. We're going to talk about haters, hating, everything, whether it be gym, life, business, work, basically kind of touch on, recognizing when someone's hating, why they're hating, how to kind of deal with it, and some methods in terms of, dealing with it, just brushing it off, shaking it off, pushing them out, whatever it may be, and kind of just, let's just kind of go with that flow and see where it takes us. Cool.
All right, well, let's start off here. So, like Corey said, the first thing we want to talk about today is dealing with haters. So, it seems it's got a weird connotation with it, because I always used to kind of laugh at the term haters, because I was like, oh, like, why would people hate on me? I'm just doing my own thing. But I mean, it's become apparent that these people are everywhere, and sometimes you don't even realize them. They could be right in front of your face. So the first thing I'd like to portray to listeners is realizing that understanding comes with people not being happy with themselves, and it can also come with jealousy. And I want to kind of highlight, I don't think a lot of the hate that I've had on me has become from jealousy, but I do think a lot of it's come from people not understanding what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and from people not being happy with themselves. Seeing me, seeing other people around me doing what we're doing, and kind of maybe regretting or being unhappy with that, that they're not doing those things. So that's the first thing I think people need to realize is, if people don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, they're gonna question it, and they might even be negative toward you, because they might think it's dumb because they don't know the background behind it. So yeah, Corey, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah. So basically, what I wanted to touch on here was recognizing it. And a hater isn't gonna walk up to you and say, "Yo, I don't like you," or I think what you're doing is fucking stupid. A hater is someone that when you're talking and you're telling a story and you're either, whether you guys are speaking on achievements or goals or whatever it may be, and, if you've achieved something and their response to you has a word but or if or, could, would, things like that, if their response to you has something like that, then they're essentially, what they're doing is downplaying your achievement. Whether it may be, I could do this if I blank. Well, guess what? Like, they didn't. Okay, you did. So rather than them say, good job, good work, I'm proud of you, or that's cool that you were able to achieve that, they're basically downplaying it, saying, well, I could do that too. Yeah, well, but they didn't do it.
Give him an example, Corey. We just talked about it off air real quick. Give him the one that you talked about from work.
Dude, all the fucking time. Okay, so like right now my weight's up a little bit. Obviously, we've talked about that. Not doing any cutting type things, whatever. Last summer, I was completely, stripped out in 90+% clean all summer long. Probably best shape of my life. Got some sweet pictures, this, that, whatever. Did some powerlifting competitions. Basically, last year I was just dialed in to the T, right? So what I'm getting at here is that, people will see pictures or they'll see me doing these things like this, squatting a heavy weight or looking good with my shirt off or whatever it may be, and they'll say, well, I could be in good shape too if I worked out all the time and ate right. And I fucking laughed, dude. I heard this. I'm sure you've heard it too. I can't count the number of times I've heard that comment. I could have abs too if I just eat right. Well, no shit. But guess what? You don't. You know why? Because you don't have the self-discipline. So rather than say, good job, that's great that you're able to stick to a clean diet, because it's not a diet. It's just eating good food. The people that sit there and comment, the people that bring it up to me, it's funny because every time I have a conversation about nutrition or lifting or fitness, I never bring it up to people. It's always people that don't participate. They don't work out. They know they should work out. They don't eat right. They know they should eat right. So what do? They bring up the conversation to me, and then they try to downplay my accomplishments. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. That can stem directly from them not being happy with themselves. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. And I kind of just laugh, and I don't ever, I've not gotten into it with anybody because I'm not going to waste my energy on it, and that's something maybe we'll probably touch on in a little bit, is, how you spend your energy. But I kind of just give it a chuckle, and if they ask me a question, I'll answer it. And if they want to have a constructive and productive conversation about it, I will. But if they're just going to sit there and say things like, well, I could do that too, or I can do this, then do it. You don't need to talk about it. And I understand it's insecurity. It's a lack of discipline. It's, self-consciousness. It's all of these things that I was there at one point. That's why I'm not going to sit there and talk down on them. We've all been there, and I still to this day say comments and do things or say things about people I probably, obviously I shouldn't say, but, that's just human nature. But, I was there at one point. My self-confidence has gone through the roof over the last few years, and that's, I did that on purpose, but I can see where they're coming from. But a big thing is recognizing that, and don't, if you're someone that has achieved goals that you want, that you've set forth to achieve and you've put in work for, don't let someone's comments like that bring you down, because I've seen it happen. Like, I don't let it get to me, but I've seen it get to other people to where, maybe they drop 10 pounds in a month because they cleaned up their shit. And then people say, oh, how'd you lose that weight? Did you just stop eating? Like, that, how does that make someone feel when they've busted their ass and got their shit together? And then all of a sudden you're just going to come in, rather than say, good job, I'm happy for you, you're going to come in and completely just trash, their confidence in themselves.
Yeah, which can come along with not understanding what's going on too, right? Because some people are just literally ignorant to the fact of what it takes to get the physique or to get the your big three numbers up too. I mean, people just don't know. So yeah, I think all those things do come into play there. So I think another important aspect of this is, so once you have the hate, once it starts coming, once you have people questioning what you're doing, why you're doing it, I think it's important to learn how to not let it bother you, And this is something that has probably taken me, I'm 24 right now. I mean, it literally has taken me probably 23 and a half years to figure this out. So it's not easy, guys. But so back in high school, back in grade school, I was the biggest people pleaser you would ever meet. All I would try to do was to make everybody around me happy. I used to, and I vividly remember because I used to say it all the time, so I don't want people to not like me. Like if I could go back and punch myself in the face for that, I would. It makes me mad thinking about it. But that was literally my mindset, because I thought, if these people, if they can all like me, then I'll be so happy, because they won't ever be mean to me. I won't ever be mean to them. It'll just be all sunshine all the time. Just very naive. And I came to learn very, very quickly that it ended up making me extremely unhappy. And Corey touched on spending your energy wisely, which we'll talk about towards the end of this episode. But I was spending so much mental and physical energy to make others around me happy that I was literally driving myself into the ground. And at the end of the day, I was coming home not being happy. And I think it's a very easy cycle to fall into, because you want to be liked. I mean, that's human nature. You want people to like you, but if you're doing things and going out of your way to do that for people who wouldn't do it for you, then you will not reap the benefits of that. It'd almost be the opposite, I think. So one thing that I did, and like I said, guys, I'll be 25 in August, but it took me 23 and a half years to figure this out. So once my mindset started changing, I was like, man, I need to figure out how to get people's opinions, or what I think people's opinions are of me, out of my own head. So I would literally, and this sounds really, really weird, but there's a lot of mental practice techniques that I've kind of come about in athletics, training, and anything, whatever it may be. But I would literally walk around, because I used to hate being in a big, crowded room of people, or even just walking in the hallways of the high school, at OU, at Marietta. It would make me feel anxious, because I felt like people were judging me constantly. And I know there's a lot of people out there like that maybe don't want to admit it, but I mean, I would say there's probably a majority of people that don't like being in a big space full of people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I would literally walk around, even just last year, because I was learning how to do it. I would walk around with my head up so I could see everybody, and then I would repeat in my head, I don't care what these people think about me. It sounds kind of, I don't want to say anything bad here, but it sounds really weird. I mean, to be quite frank with everybody. But after doing that for so long, you form that habit, and then you don't have to say it to yourself anymore. And then I have no problem. I mean, I went from not being able to walk in a hallway of 50 people to now I do 30-plus workshops that last 120 minutes in front of 50 coaches, no problem. You know what I mean? Because you can't do that kind of stuff with worrying about, I kind of stuttered a little bit. I hope that coach doesn't think I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Right. So I think, everybody's different. So you got to figure out what works best for you. But that, as weird as it is, that's what works best for me. So you got to learn, once you know that hate's going to be there, you got to learn to not let it bother you. But you got to learn how to do that, because, like I said, it takes a very long time.
Yeah, no, that whatever works, I've heard of people, I've literally talked to myself, not necessarily about that, but there's been things where I've just said it over and over in my head, just until I believed it. Because if you hear something enough, you're going to believe it, right? Mm-hmm. So I've literally talked myself into believing shit, not necessarily on the same subject, but mm-hmm. I've definitely been there, so I think that's pretty cool. One thing I think, too, which was big for me, is the struggle of deciphering between, because obviously, like you said, you want to be liked, that's human nature. My thing, when I leave the house, I want to look good, I want to sound smart, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it's not necessarily for the other person, it's for me. It's just because, just like anything else, we expect so much out of ourselves. I don't care, what I look like when I walk out of the house for some stranger that I'm going to see at Walmart that's never going to see me again. I want to look good when I walk out of the house, because that's how I feel better when I talk a certain way, when I look a certain way, when I walk a certain way, and that's for me. That's not for other people. You've all heard the quote, because sometimes I feel like I'm talking in cliches, because quotes and shit literally run, I don't want to say run me, but make up most of my my mental aptitude. People that mind don't matter, and people that matter don't mind, right? So not necessarily in that sense, but the one thing I say to myself all the time is kind of like how you said, like, I don't care what these people think about me or whatever, is it's none of my fucking business what people say about me behind my back. Because if they're saying it behind my back, they're obviously not real enough to say it to my face. And if they're not real enough to say it to my face, I don't give a shit what they're saying. If one of my buddies wants to say, yo, you're doing this and I don't like it, blah, 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 and he comes to me and tells me that, I appreciate that, and I want that knowledge and that information. But if he waits until I walk away and then he says, hey, blah, 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 and says whatever when I'm not there, then I don't fucking care what he has to say because it obviously doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah. That's awesome. It sounds like we have a little bit different mindset on this, Corey. It may have come easier to you than it did for me. But can you touch on what type of feeling does it give you? Because I know how it makes me feel, and I'll talk about it in a second. What kind of feeling does it give you when you don't have to worry about other people? Does that make sense?
People's thoughts of me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a weird question.
It's literally like, because there's times like I don't want to say I suffer with. I deal with like anxiety, in a little bit, and I just learned this like within the last year or so. I didn't even realize I had anxiety. But I deal with anxiety and, this pressure, and you feel like you can't breathe, and, you've got all this stuff going on, and, the weight of the world's on your shoulders, right? Whenever I finally, like, take a step back out of the realm of society and realize that, like, I always tell myself, I'm like, 99% of the shit don't matter. And whenever I can kind of, like, reaffirm that, because I know it, but it's hard, you lose track of that. And whenever I can actually take a step back and remind myself that 99% of this shit doesn't even matter. What people say doesn't matter. It has no effect on, my health, my happiness, or anything. Like, I just feel like I can breathe again. Like, I feel like the weight's been lifted off my chest. I can go about my day and actually smile and be happy. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking for. I mean, the only thing I was going to add to that is once I figured out how to not care about what people think, and it's almost exactly what you said, feeling that weight lifted off your chest. It was the single most liberating feeling I've ever felt in my life. Like once because I did that for so long, like, repeating whatever I was doing in my head. And then one day I don't remember exactly where I was, but I looked around, I was like, man, like, I have no worries. You know what I mean? Like it was like being unchained for my whole life. You know what I mean? It sounds really weird to say that, but when you get to that level of only focusing on you and focusing on the people that matter around you and the people that want to put their energy into you, then it's hard to describe that feeling. It's awesome.
Yeah, when you stop focusing, when you stop spending your energy on shit that deep down doesn't matter and it's not productive and it's not helping you out, whether in terms of your health or your happiness or whatever it may be, when you stop spending all that energy, and use it towards good, it's just unbelievable, like the difference in, the shift that you'll feel.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So I think one last point I want to touch on before we move on, Corey, is so like when that hate is present, I want to kind of touch on how we both deal with it, because I don't think we've touched on that yet.
Yeah. So one thing I think too, like we just talked about, we talked about the soft side a little bit, taking a step back and being happy and realizing that, people's words aren't going to hurt me and sticks and stones, all that bullshit, right? Yeah. On the other side, though, like, I have a temper problem. So there's another tidbit about me. Yeah. So, not in the sense that, like, I'm a violent person, but, like, I get angry. I'll get, I can find this aggression inside of me that usually like kept under control. It doesn't come out very often. But if someone's going to make a comment that says, like, I could look like you too if I worked out hard, all that does is just throws fuel into the fire. So when I go back to the gym the next morning, I'm thinking about that in my head, like, motherfucker, you didn't come before, you're not coming now. Like, you think you can do what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how much more I can do. Like, it's just that, you got to find stuff to fuel your fire anyway, but all that shit does is, it's just like puts an extra chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. You took my phrase from me, Corey. That's what I was going to say next.
Shit, my bad, dude. I'm sorry.
You're good. So yeah, no, the two ways that I've come to deal with it, either A, I just ignore it, because like some of the stuff is just completely useless, and some of the stuff people say is just ridiculous. So I either ignore A, or B, I'll use what Corey said. He might have saw my notebook or something, but use it as a chip on my shoulder, because I mean, when you get to a point, like, I know, Corey, you've been at the gym for a while. I'm going to use the gym as an example. So, like, I've been going to Old School for 6-7 months now, and like sometimes you just get in kind of a funk where, like, man, like, you know, I want to hit abs today, but you know, I don't feel like doing those ab rollers. You know, I got to leave in 10 minutes. Maybe I'll just get an early jump on the road. But if somebody's saying, you're like, oh, like, you know, your abs don't look that good, I can't even tell you're cutting, whatnot. I mean, I'll use that. It's tough to find things sometimes that give you the chip on your shoulder. I mean, Corey Gregory's at a much higher level than we are, obviously, but he says so anything that he can find, he uses. I think that's a good way to go about it, is because if you can find that extra fuel, that makes you push that much harder, and then it basically makes it easier for you to do what you need to do, instead of like, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was good. Corey, what do you want to go into next? You want to talk about friends versus acquaintances?
Yeah, that's cool. Let's try to touch on that. We'll see where it leads. Dude, I'm not prepared at all, so I'm just hoping something comes to my mind here.
It's all good, dude. That's why I write notes, because I stutter a lot and my mind goes blank, so I need them.
Yeah, so friends versus acquaintances. This is something I have a lot of conversation with myself about this. We have a lot of time, you know, we're both spend a lot of time in the vehicle traveling back and forth all day between work and gym and whatever it may be. And, you know, if I'm not listening to a podcast or a book from iTunes, I literally have conversations with myself. And this is something I like to go back and forth on, as friends versus acquaintances, because I think it's something that people take too lightly. And I think depending on what level you're at in life, you can get away with it. There's levels to everything. And I think when, you know, if you're just living your normal, wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed, like, it's cool, whatever, you don't have to think too much about it. But when you get to this next level, and, you know, I'm not saying we're next level at all, but we're starting to make that climb, right, to where we're growing, we've got things going on in our head that most people aren't thinking about. We're thinking long term, we're thinking, you know, just super ambitious stuff, right? When you start to make that climb up that hill, up that mountain, you have to start thinking about these things a little bit more in depth, in terms of who do you have on your right hip, who's on your left hip, you know, who are you talking to, who are you spending your time with. You know, everyone always says your environment's key, and, you know, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? So I think as you start to make that descent up that hill towards these higher level goals and ambitions, it's something that you really need to be conscious about. So that's kind of like the lead into it, I guess you should say.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to figure out the difference between the two, isn't it? I mean. Yeah,
and I think I'm like super picky. So if someone says like, yo, I have a friend, you know, one of my friends, but she's a bitch, but I like her, but she talks shit all the time. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not your friend then. Like,
yeah.
If someone says things that pisses you off repeatedly, and not like in a helpful sense, like if it's criticism and you get pissed, yeah, good. But if it's just literally negativity, this, that, you know, and they're constantly like bringing you down, I just don't understand how you could call them a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe you work with them, maybe you get along with them, maybe you say hi to them, shake their hand when you see them, but they're not your friend.
Yeah. I mean, that might be. I mean, if they're bringing you down constantly, that might not even be an acquaintance. But I think an acquaintance is more of somebody who, you know, you're cool with. You may talk on a semi-regular basis. You know, bounce ideas off of them, whatnot. But a friend is somebody who, you know, you're talking to on a daily basis. You're talking about important things in your life that you need real input on. I mean, that's somebody you're walking into a fire, you know, in a fire with. That's not somebody that, you know, an acquaintance, you might take the car ride to the fire, but you're not going to walk through the fire with them, right?
Exactly.
So I think when you're looking, or you're trying to differentiate between the two, the friend is somebody who's going to be real with you and support you, okay? Which I think an acquaintance may do as well. But I think the key difference is, and I found this out vividly the past few months, is the friend is going to be somebody who maybe call you out on your crap. You know what I mean? So that's somebody who I think we've all heard the term yes man. I think yes men, yes women, whatever you want to call it, are the biggest cancer to growth. Because if you're surrounding yourself with people who, you know, if I put an idea out there like, Todd, it's a great idea, it's a great idea. If it's not a great idea, then I'm going to look like an idiot. They're going to look like idiots, and then we're either going to not grow or we're going to take a step backwards. You know what I mean? So if you have somebody to audit you constantly, and they say like, "No, Todd, that's a terrible idea. What are you thinking?" It makes you go back to the drawing board, fix it, get better, come back with a better idea. So I think those are the people you need to surround yourself with. I mean, you need to be constantly auditing your inner circle. I mean, it's not something like, oh, hey, like I found 5 people who are in my inner circle, I'm done. You know, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
It's constantly revolving.
Yeah, because your goals are constantly changing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't have your inner circle based on goals that you set a year ago. You know, because you're just not going to reach those goals. So I think, I mean, I've had 2 buddies, which I actually just posted a picture on Instagram about from back home, Andy and BJ. Like they've been my homies since day one. And the one thing back when I had a really soft mental mindset, when I wanted to be a people pleaser and I want everybody to like me, they always called me out on my shit. You know what I mean? So they always called me out on like, Todd, what are you doing, dude? You're acting like a fool. And I would used to get mad inside. Why are they being mean? Like I sound really soft when I was little. I mean, that's just basically I was kind of soft. But they would always do that, and I never really understood why. Like I thought these guys were my friends. Like why are they always putting me down? But realistically, they're giving me constructive criticism, which I think is a big key with who your actual friends are. I mean, I've been very, very fortunate to be, you know, coming from Barberton up in Northeast Ohio, going to high school, Marietta, OU, where I'm working at New Lexington and the crew at Old School. I've been very fortunate to come in contact with a lot of people that I've been able to add to my inner circle, and then people that I've just been able to add to my acquaintances too. I mean, obviously you can't have 30 people in your inner circle, you know what I mean? But you can have 5, 6, 7 people in your inner circle that you trust with very important decisions, and then you can have those other 25, 30 acquaintances who you can still talk to on a daily basis, maybe get some feedback from them, but they're not as, you can't count on them as much maybe as your inner circle as you need to. So I think it's important to be able to differentiate. So yeah, I think that's all I got on that course.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing too, like with friends, acquaintances, and inner circle, that's kind of like the 3 tiers I would put them into. I mean, I have, they say, you know, like the higher you go, the more acquaintances, and, you know, you have less friends and more acquaintances the higher up you go, right? So I have a lot of, obviously everyone has a lot of acquaintances, whether you realize it or not. I have friends, though, too, that I have some friends I haven't talked to probably for months, maybe even a year, you know, and they're friends that I've literally been best friends with my entire life. They have, you know, completely 110% been supportive on anything I've ever done, whether it be with my fitness stuff, with like trying to get like a new business going, you know, whenever you see them or talk to them, because I know, you know, none of us live in our hometown anymore, right? So, you know, people lose, you know, you get out of touch. But anytime I see them or talk to them, you never miss a beat, right? You know, you can talk to them, pick up right where you left off. So, I mean, I've definitely got some friends that, you know, I would say are ride or die, but I maybe even haven't talked to them for months, you know, and that's okay too. But then I also, at the same time, you know, have some people that maybe in the inner circle that maybe aren't even as good of a friend as someone, you know, from back home, but, you know, they're in the same realm in terms of what I'm doing, you know, whether it be in the gym or in the business or whatever. So, I mean, it's tricky, I think, to navigate. I just think it's something that if you're more conscious about and take a step back and evaluate your relationship with the individual, I think it's something that a lot of people would be surprised to think, you know, I guess that person really isn't my friend, or, you know, maybe I am spending too much time with this person and I probably shouldn't be because they're holding me back, or, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think you're gonna make me kind of retract what I said earlier. Is like Andy and BJ from back home. I honestly I texted Andy today. It's his birthday, but I don't talk to those guys. Maybe, you know, maybe we shoot a text to each other like once every month or two. You know what I mean? But we go 6, 7 months without seeing each other. But like you said, when I go back home or like we all meet up somewhere, it's like you never miss a beat. So I mean, so like I said earlier, you in your inner circle, talking to them every day or very frequently. That's not true. I think it's those people that you can count on, even if you haven't talked to them in 3-4 months, 5, however long it is. I think that's an important thing that we need to talk about as well. So
yeah. So I mean, and everyone's gonna have their different opinions on it, and no one's thoughts are ever exactly right, but it's just something that I definitely think that everyone can benefit from taking a step back on and just kind of really thinking it through. And it depends. I mean, if you're content with your life, fine. But if you're looking to take that next step, in life, and you've got goals and dreams and this and that, and you want to really chase them, then you definitely need to be aware of this.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's some good stuff on that, Corey. I think I'm ready to move on to the last topic we got today. If you are.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it is.
So the last thing we want to talk about to you guys today is who to spend your energy, whether that's mental or physical energy, on. Mm-hmm. So these are all pretty intertwined. So I hope we don't sound too redundant to you guys, but I think these are important, even though they may seem similar. They're very different as well. So do you want to start us off, Corey, on this, or you want me to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll start with physical energy first.
Okay.
I know a big thing with, catching hate, catching flack, catching whatever from people is the majority of the time I feel like it stems from literally your buddies. And it's your buddies that don't have as high of fitness aspirations as you do. And I'm saying fitness because the majority of our life revolves around fitness, so we can use it to, we can use that as metaphors for life, right? So maybe your buddy, he works out, goes to the gym, cool, but he eats whatever the hell he wants. He lifts weights, but he doesn't have the same kind of goals and aspirations as you do. So what does he do? Thirsty Thursday, he's out at the bar. Friday, out at the bar. Saturday's out at the bar, right? Cool, that's fine, but you got way, way, way higher aspirations than he does. So what does he do? Dude, you changed. You ain't the same. You don't fucking come out and drink with us anymore, right? Literally everybody. My buddy came up to the gym this past weekend. Woke up 1 o'clock. He usually wakes up and drives to Old School to come work out with us on the weekend. Same thing. Grinds 10, 12-hour work days. Has super high fitness aspirations and goals. He's been killing it for the last year or two. There's people that are going to talk shit because, but what it boils down to is what got us into this topic in the very beginning was they just don't understand, right? So where am I getting at with this? What I'm getting at is it's not selfish to not go out. And I know we kind of talked about this last week. You need to be more conscious, again, like be more conscious in who is a friend and an acquaintance. You need to be more conscious on how you're spending your energy, how you're spending your physical energy. If your buddy isn't cool with just coming over and hanging out and kicking it at the house and watching some TV and bullshitting, they only want to kick it at the bar, like, are they really your buddy?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you have something to probably weigh in on this topic, I would have to assume.
Yeah, well, yeah, I wasn't going to really go here today, but you brought up the going out thing, and we've talked about this, Corey. OU, for those of you who don't know, I think is the biggest party school in the country. I could be wrong. So it's got a pretty big persona about it. But so like last year, when my mindset was a lot different. I would probably go out once a week, after a long work week, classes and everything. I'll go out, try to relieve a little stress, whatnot, And then this year, a lot of things changed for me, and I go out very seldom anymore. You know what I mean? Sometimes I will if it's a special occasion, but it's very, very far and few in between. So I have these people coming up to me and like, Todd, like, what's going on? Like, you're not acting the same anymore. Like, you're doing all these things, and do you think you're better than everybody now, or like, do you think? I have people say, like, are you too good for the gyms here in Athens because you drive an hour 15 to go to Taspa? Like, you get all those things all the time, and then like people are just saying, like, Todd, you've changed. Like, you're not the same person anymore. Like, you don't come out with us. You don't want to have fun with us anymore. Like, what's changed? Are we not good enough for you? And I mean, if that comes up to you, blindsided, I mean, it can take you back a little bit, because I was honestly shocked by it the first time I heard it. You know what I mean? Because I never really dealt with, and I won't even call it hate, but just I would say more resentment. I never dealt with that before, but it's something that you need to expect, and you need to learn how to deal with on your own, because it will come when you start changing your habits, and it makes you audit, you know, who's really there to support you and who's there more to you know, go out and you know, do the wasted Wednesdays, thirsty Thursdays, all that good stuff. So I think that's a big, the going out one's, I think, the main example, because I mean I think that can relate to everybody. You know what I mean?
One thing I think too to help battle it is something I learned. I kind of learned the hard way, but I kind of didn't. You know, I've never caught a bunch of shit from people about not going out. Honestly, I can say that, you know, most of the people in my life have been super supportive of everything I've done over the last couple of years, and I don't know if it's because I had already weeded out the negativity or, you know, what it may be, but I never really caught a bunch of stuff from people about, you know, what I was doing in terms of my schedule, up early, bed early, not going out. I haven't really caught a bunch of shit from people, but I think something you could do to kind of help relieve that or prevent that from happening is, like we've talked about before, is making your intentions known as soon as possible. You know, they don't understand because maybe you didn't tell them, right? So one thing I noticed for me when I first started being much more active in social media, posting lifting videos, doing food prep, whatever it was I had some people that I thought was pretty good friends literally unfollow me from social media, because you know how people that don't do fitness and they see fitness shit, they're like, oh yeah, another lifting video, because they don't understand, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't understand that 3 years ago when I posted that squat video, I was eventually working my way towards a career in fitness. Had he known that, maybe he would have understood and been more supportive and said, yo, man, I see what you're doing. Like, keep grinding, you know, keep working, whatever. I'm excited for your progress. He had no idea that I was literally, like, laying groundwork for the rest of my life. So what did he do? He just clicked unfollow, which is totally cool, because if you don't want to see my shit, I don't want you looking at it. But, you know, maybe had he known what I was doing, you know, maybe he would have stuck around and been more supportive, because, honestly, I mean, I don't want to sound petty, but if you aren't loyal enough to me to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to, whenever I know you're very active in social media, I don't know how I can ever look at you as a friend again. There you go. You're on my acquaintances side now, right? Yeah. So maybe just be upfront with people and say, you know, hey, this is what I'm doing. The worst they could do is say, I think you're stupid, and then, you know, and then you got your answer right there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So yeah, I think, you know, going off that, what about mental energy? Like, talking about spending it, where you need to spend it, where you may need to cut it off. What, you know, as far not even things that you're doing, but, you know, spending your energy on other people.
Yeah, mental energy was huge for me, and that was something that came through my mental growth over the last couple of years with all of the books and things I've read. Physical energy came super easy because I was just fucking dog tired. Like, I went from waking up I used to work second shift. I used to work till midnight, and so I would get up at like 7 or 8 and work out in the morning. Well, then my alarm clock just started getting earlier and earlier and earlier. Now all of a sudden, you know, my alarm clock's at 2:30 in the morning. Like, I don't know how it can get any earlier, right? So the physical thing never came hard because I was just dead. Like, there was no, like, if you wanted me to come out, you're going to have to come pick my ass up and carry me out, because I'm just not going to make it. And, you know, by the end of the week, I'm just ready to sit down and take a break, right? The mental energy was so huge because, like we talked about earlier, it was such a relief and a weight lifted off my chest whenever I wasn't focusing on all the negative. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'll literally sit down, and I've even said this to family members before, like, you know, people don't realize that, you know, everybody's attracted to negative shit, right? You know, cars are lined up a mile long on interstate. Why? Because there's a car wreck, and people want to slow down so they can look at the damn car wreck, right? Yeah. You know, news, it's all negative. It's nothing's positive, right? So everyone's attracted to the negative stuff because it's thrill. It's, you know, it's a thrill. It's exciting, whatever it may be. People don't realize how much of their conversations revolve around negative shit. So I literally will sit there and I'll say, you know, if someone is talking, I'll zone them out, and it's very obvious when you get zoned out. And I'll simply say, is this conversation productive? And they usually shut up. Because if it's not productive, I don't have the time. I don't want to have the time, and I don't want to spend the energy to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what my neighbor 3 houses down. I don't care if they didn't mow their fucking yard today. Like, I don't care about stuff that doesn't matter. Like, literally, I try to fill every ounce of my day with positive stuff that literally makes a difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, yeah, that was really good. I think, basically with the mental energy part of it, I think if you don't spend it wisely, I think it can be almost more fatiguing than the physical energy. You know what I mean? So I think.
Yeah, I mean, everything's mental, right?
Yeah. So I talked about earlier when we talked about the way that I deal with things, whether that's negativity or hate, I either ignore it or I use it as a chip on my shoulder. So like a lot of time, like when I hear all those people, saying I've changed, saying whatnot, like you're not the same person, you think you're better than us or whatnot. The thing I love, so I would use that as a chip on my shoulder. I loved being at home or over on campus in one of the campus buildings on a Friday night and a Saturday night doing work. Like it was like I was like getting high off of it. Like it sounds super weird, but I lived for that. Like all these people, like your tweet on for Thursday or Friday last week, you said I'm gonna be working towards my dreams, and all these clowns are going out. But like it's so true. Like there's nothing better to me than knowing that thousands of people on Saturday night are going out down to Court Street and getting plastered, and I'm in my room working on my thesis, working on reading a book, working on something for my business, trying to make it better or thrive better. I mean, like I can't even describe it. I love it so much. It's awesome to me. So I think that goes back to learning how to deal with negativity, because like Corey, you said, you either ignore it or like the way we both talked about using it as a chip on our shoulder. I think that's huge, and it makes it easier to not spend so much mental energy, because if you're doing things that you enjoy and you've blocked all that other stuff out, then it makes it easy. Like it almost becomes second nature.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do, and it's hard to even explain. I wish I could go, into a better detail of explaining how to do it, but it's literally like just one of those things that once you figure it out, it's just the most liberating thing. Like when I'm sitting there, if I'm sitting there at lunch and I'm eating turkey and I'm eating some broccoli or vegetables or whatever it may be, and someone's sitting there, eating pizza, like saying, how do you eat that every day, or how are you still dieting? Or, it's funny, dude. Like, it literally is entertainment for me to listen to the things that come out of people's mouths as they are doing the things that they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with it. But, once you can learn to not let that get to you, I mean, it's just like you can just laugh. I just laugh it off. I don't know what else to say, dude.
No, that's all you can do. Like, dude, when I'm here at the high school, and sometimes I'll prep my meals here at the high school, like if we got a late night of practice, and I'll ground turkey. I'm eating a little bit of rice right now with my meals and veggies. Like I'll be cooking all that up in the microwave, and I got my jug of aminos, and I literally every day somebody's like, "Are you drinking piss? Are you drinking your own piss? Like what is that? Like what is that in your meal? Like that looks gross, dude." And I'm like, it's the same thing I was drinking and eating yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it is funny to an extent. So, yeah, man. I think I don't really know if we touched too much on the actual topic, but I think we had some good stuff.
Yeah,
there, so.
it probably took a little bit of a detour that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
Hopefully we got something out of there, though. I mean, I think it was still something that needed to be said.
Yeah, man. I think we gave some good stuff for our listeners today. So I think we did our hot seat today, which is interesting. I think it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But before we wrap it up, Corey, if you're ready to wrap it up, I think we should. If you got a parting shot or not, I think we should give those now.
Yeah, dude, you got one?
Yeah,
mine kind of ties into what we've been talking about.
Yeah, so you go first then.
Okay. My parting shots, if you haven't picked up on, I've almost essentially turned into freaking Corey's quote of the day, right? So today's quote, and I think it's from John Maxwell. If you haven't heard John Maxwell, look him up on iTunes. And literally, well, I mean, you could probably do him on YouTube, but just grab any one of his books on iTunes. And like, I listen to these things all day, every day. All right. So the quote I have for you today, and he said it in his book, Intentional Living, is what I'm listening to right now. He said, "Eagles and pigeons don't fly in the same flock." So so my take on that is, like we kind of were touching on friends versus acquaintances, right? It's okay if you're happy with your life. I just like to reiterate, shit we're talking about here. If you're happy with your life and you're content with your life, and there's nothing that you want to change, then this doesn't, maybe we're not talking to you. But if you're someone like us that is happy, but you want more out of life, and you can get more out of life, and you've got these big ass dreams that you're working towards, that's when you need to learn, who are the pigeons, who's the eagles, so it's okay to hang out with them and talk to them and be friends with them, but you've got to know when is your time to step away from them and get with the people that are flying towards the top of the mountain too, because those are the people that are going to get you there, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to leave you with today.
Nice. So you actually just sparked a thought in my head, because I had this quote that I wanted to say, and it actually ties into this pretty well. So I'm going to give a quote and a sports med tip today. So I'm going balls to the wall here.
All in.
So this quote, I had to do an impromptu speech in my public speaking class freshman year at Marietta. So this is 6 years ago, and I still remember this vividly to this day. So the quote is, "Love doesn't change, but people change and circumstances change." And I'm pretty sure it's by Jim Rohn, and I'll have to double check on that. But I mean, tying into what we talked about today, I truly believe that if those people that we've kind of backed out of our lives or backed out of our lives themselves, there was always that initial caring, loving, whatever it was that brought those two people together. But circumstances changing as far as goals for each person or aspirations, whatever it may be, those are the types of things that tear people apart. You know what I mean? So people go different ways. If it's for a career, for differences in opinion, and circumstances change as far as what you're trying to do in life. But I think it's important to know that you don't need to have that negative thought toward people, or you don't need to hold a grudge against somebody for if their aspirations aren't the same as yours, or if their life direction isn't the same as yours. I think it's important to realize that caring, underlying all kinds of crap, will always be there. But even if you move in different directions, there's no point in holding a negativity or holding that grudge there. So I don't know if I explained that quote very well, but it really hits home with me. I've always loved that quote.
That's a good one.
So it's my sports med tip today. I'm actually about to shoot this video right now, and it's about 9:30, so I gotta get going. A lot of people I see struggling with rounded shoulders and head forward posture, and I think almost everybody on our crew is right now, because we're doing 120 reps of chest every day. But so what the video is going to entail, guys, if you're struggling from rounded shoulders, so if you feel like your shoulders are kind of wanting to try to touch themselves in the front of you, or you're slouching over in your chair and your head's kind of protruding forward, you got to work on stretching the upper pec and lower pec, the front anterior muscles of the neck. So the sternocleidomastoid, which is a really big word, it doesn't really matter. You'll just know it's in the front of your neck. Your anterior delts, and you really got to hammer home the upper back work. So rear delts, rhomboids, levator scap, all the scapular stabilizing muscles. You got to hit home high reps for those to kind of pull your shoulders back into that regular posture position that you should be in the first place. And then between the two stretching is the big one, because I don't think anybody stretches enough. So I'm going to kind of give some insight on some good chest and the anterior delt stretches, and a couple of neck stretches as well, to kind of open up that anterior musculature, and then a couple exercises to help kind of tighten up and support your upper back better as well. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Cool. I'm looking forward to that. Cool. All right, Corey. I think that wraps it up for our episode. Guys, we hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can find it on SoundCloud and iTunes. Hit us up on social media if you guys have any takeaway from today. We'd love to hear your comments and feedback, because I think we're on social media 90% of the day when we're not working or working out. So hit us up, guys, on there. Corey, again, I think hopefully people are kind of getting the idea, but you want to give your handles real quick? Instagram and Twitter, CoreCarpFit. Snapchat, just CoreCarp, CoreCarp. I've been getting a lot of good conversations with people on Snapchat, so I just want to kind of say, hit me up on Snapchat and say what's up. It's just a lot
easier to get back at you, you know, really quickly as opposed to the others. So definitely do that, because I think it's good to see, you know, put the handles with the faces and, you know, a video and whatnot. And I would also say just hop on Twitter. I know you'll give us your Twitter handle here in a minute. We've been having a lot of fun on Twitter. I think was cool. I mean, Instagram is where it's at right now, but we've been having a lot of just good, fun conversations on Twitter lately. It's been pretty entertaining. So I would suggest getting on Twitter and, you know, hitting us up and, you know, chiming into the conversations there.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can find me at ToddSable_PAV on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. So yeah, keep the conversations coming, guys. I've had some good messages on Instagram, a couple of good DMs on Twitter. So we're really looking forward to keep interacting with you guys on there as well. So last thing, if you guys do enjoy the stuff we're bringing to you, we would really appreciate and love it if you guys could give us a comment and a rating on iTunes. I mean, because we want this to be geared towards the things that you guys are interested in. So we may even be doing some Twitter polls here in the near future just to kind of get an idea of what you guys want to hear. But if you guys leave us a comment and you know, give us a rating on there, it'll give us a better idea of what you guys want. So we really appreciate that. All right. So yeah, I think that's it, Corey. I think we did a good job of kind of staying on track. I think we went a little off topic at some points, but I think we're about to peace out.
Hey, guess what? It's our show. We do whatever the hell we want.
That's right.
Hey, guys, have a good night, man. It was fun. I'll see you.
All right, peace.
Later.
Roll up in the club and shit. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. You know what? I bet you got it twisted. You don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to say.